Hare Krishna, friends. So finally, after a lot of work, we're here. The first verse of the Brahma-samhita. So again, we're going to study using this. This is Bhaktisiddhanta's version. Have open your study guide on your table, desk, whatever you're using. Turn it to the first verse and let's get moving. But before we actually dive in, just a little warm up. Let's pay attention to the mood of these verses. We know Vedic teachings, we know religious teachings and spiritual teachings are very dedicated to God being unreverential, the supreme, the absolute, this very huge and monolithic thing. The Brahma-samhita focuses on the beauty and the love and the sweetness of divinity. And so the very first verse has this mixture of absolute divinity and sweetness and love. I've learned so much from studying the Brahma-samhita. It's a mysterious book. It's like hearing a secret from God. And so I really hope that I can relay that feeling to you, and I hope our experience and our journey is just amazing. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, friends. So here we are, the very first verse of the Brahma-samhita, and it's so beautiful. It's so sweet. It starts, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, Adhir Govinda, Sarva Karna Karnam. And the first line is Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara means controller. In our lives, we have so many controllers. Our mind is a controller. Our family controller. The government's a controller. So much Mother Nature is a controller. So much is controlling us. But in this case, we're saying the Param, the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama, is Krishna, or Ishvara Parama embodies Krishna. And Krishna is a set of qualities: beauty, love, attraction, devotion, sweetness. So this very first line, Ishvara Parama Krishna, is translated as either Krishna is the supreme Parama, the supreme controller, or Ishvara Parama Krishna, the supreme controller, is full of all the qualities of Krishna: beauty, love, sweetness. Very sweet. The next line, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. This here, we're used to, especially in the yoga community, Hindus, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So why does this say Sak, Chid, Ananda? Because this word here is Chit. Here in the word for word, we have Chit. In Sanskrit, we have what's called a sandhi, where words are changed, the beginning and ends of words are changed to be pronounced nicer. So Sat Chit Ananda is much more difficult to say than Satchidananda. And we have that in English. If we say it is something, it is difficult to say, so we'll put it together. We'll remove one of the letters and put an apostrophe, and we'll say it's. So similar. So Vigraha means form. And so Krishna, who is the Ishvara, the topmost, has a beautiful form, an embodiment of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And this word chit is going to come up a lot through the next section of the Brahma-samhita when we discuss how the universe is created, all the way from the topmost Goloka all the way down into the material world. This chit energy of Krishna is a very vital, important part in that. Anadhir, Adhir, Govinda. So the Adhi, the original thing, is Krishna. We always say that God is the origin. If somebody said, what created the universe? You say God. What created God? Nothing created God. God is Adi, the origin. And so here Krishna is called Anadi, means he has no source, and he is Adhi, the source of all things. Anad here, Anna, not, have a source, Adhir, is the Adhir. Anadhir, Adhir. And then Govinda means, go means the senses and can also mean cows. Krishna played as a young cowherd boy, played the flute, walked through the forest and took care of the cows in Vrindavan. He was from a cowherd community. Very beautiful stories about Krishna in his youth. And go means the senses, and avinda means to protect. And it also means, what did I say? The senses and cows. Go, the senses, or go means cows, the protector of. Anadhir, Adhir, Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasyaha. The whole entire universe and everything in it is controlled, karmani, by Prakriti. But ahankara vimudatma, ahankara, ego, a person who has self-ego or a false sense of self, is full of ahankara, false ego. Ahang means I am, kara, the cause or the doer. Ahankara. So in this verse, Krishna is the sarvakarana. He is the ahankara, the doer. Krishna could say, I'm the doer, I'm ahankara. We think we are, but it's actually Krishna who is the sarva, all, karana, doer of all things to be done, or the cause of all causes. So this very beautiful verse, Ishvara Padama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karnam. Krishna, divinity who's full of love and beauty and sweetness, is the supreme, the absolute controller of all things, has a beautiful form of Satchit Ananda. Eternity, knowledge, and bliss, is the source of everything, has no source, is also known as Govinda, and is the cause of all causes. Very beautiful. So here's Bhaktisiddhanda Saraswati's translation of this verse. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is a supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. Hare Krishna. Okay, friends, we're going to go over a few points in Bhaktisiddhanta's purports. We're not going to read through all the purports. They're too long. But you have the study guide, which is almost a line-by-line modern translation of Bhaktisiddhanta's English translation. So to start, we have this one point here where Bhaktisiddhanta says, the very name Krishna implies his love-attracting designation, expressing by his eternal nomenclature the acme of entity, which means his name is Krishna, which underlines his love-attracting nature and signifies his divine reality. Means because he's called Krishna, it means that he is full of love, sweetness, beauty, and that attractive nature. Okay, so if you scroll down a little bit, Bhaktisiddhanta says, the mundane manifestive portion of his own self is known as all-pervading Paramatma, Ishvara, Supreme Lord, or Vishnu, all-fostering. Hence, it is evident that Krishna is the sole Supreme Godhead. The study guide says, Krishna's worldly manifestation is recognized as the all-pervading universal soul, Paramatma, controller of everything, Ishvara, and divine maintainer, Vishnu. Therefore, it is clear that Krishna is the one and only Supreme Godhead. Why is that? Because Krishna plays the flute, he's full of love and sweetness, he engages with his devotees, he has a blue tinge, he wears the peacock feather. None of these attributes are in Paramatma or Vishnu. And so here we're seeing that Krishna, the flute playing, beautiful cowherd boy, stands the supreme and is the Adhi, the source of all the Vishnus. So if we scroll down just a little more, we get this incredibly powerful, deep line. Bhaktisiddhanda says, this beautiful spiritual figure is identical with Krishna, and the spiritual entity of Krishna is identical with his own figure. What this means is that there isn't a entity God who manifests this form Krishna, and then it goes away, and then he manifests some different form, and then that one goes away. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, fools deride me when I descend in this human form. They think that my form is limited and temporary. What it means is that Krishna's form is God, the entity God. And God is the form Krishna. They're not separate. I have an example here. This is a 100-face die. There's the 100 right there. What that means is that if I roll this dice, I can get 1 to 100. This is called a 100-face dice because the top number is 100. When I hit 100, it's not that the 100 is something separate and then it goes away and then I roll it again and then I get a 50 and somehow the 100 is gone. The 100, the 50, the 40, the 30, every number which is part of this die is part of the die. Even though I don't see it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This is the Vyakta, Avyakta, Murtina. There's the form of Krishna that you may see or not see, but it doesn't mean it's not there. Even the spirit soul, you, the jiva, are one of the numbers on this die, if this is the absolute truth. If this is the absolute truth, Krishna is the 100. You are like down below in the like 20s or 30s. You are a ray of divinity. You are not 100. Krishna is 100. Vishnu is 98. Shiva is 76, and so on. But it's one supreme personality with many different manifestations or faces, but they're not separate things. They're all one supreme absolute thing. Cool? There's a lot in these purports. Obviously, we can go on and on, for every single sentence is its own huge and long lecture, so much depth. But I'm just going to hit a few little points because a lot of these things are covered throughout the rest of the Brahma-samhita, and it'll be much deeper as we get into especially the verses and the hymns. But I wanted to touch on this one point where Bhaktisiddhanda says, Krishna, as truly visioned in his variegated pastimes, such as owner of transcendental cows, chief of cowherds, consort of milkmaids, ruler of the terrestrial abode Gokula, an object of worship by transcendental residents of Goloka beauties, is Govinda. He is the root cause of all causes, who are the predominating and predominated agents of this universe. And so there's a lot of depth there. We're going to get into what all that means moving forward. This very first verse is really a introduction, kind of like a prayer to Krishna, because starting on verse 2, we start with a description of Gokula, the spiritual universe Goloka, and how it all works, how it's all created, all the players within the drama, all the way down to the material universe, how it's created, and how you are here witnessing this and experiencing this material world. But this verse is talking about Govinda, meaning that there's Krishna, who is the form, the flute player and such, and Govinda is the name which also encompasses the pastimes of Gokula, the cowherd girls, the cowherd men, the cows, the chief of the cowherd men, and the whole engagement with them. And so the word Govinda is used mostly through the Brahma-samhita. Krishna here and there, but mostly the Brahma-samhita will move forward and refer to Krishna as Govinda, because it's the beauty, the form, the flute, the peacock feather, plus the cowherd girls, the cowherd men, the cows, Gokula, Goloka, and that whole sweet pastime. Okay, so that's it for verse 1. I'm so happy we got through it. The next section is going to be amazing, where we dig into all the details. And at the very end here, Bhaktisiddhanda says, this book is a treaty of Krishna. So the preamble is enacted by chanting his name in the beginning. Okay, see you in verse 2. Hare Krishna.